This is how a normal person with zero investing experience gets to their first $10,000 invested, and why that number is the one that changes everything. Because here's the truth nobody tells you. $10,000 in the market isn't retirement money. It's not I'm rich money. But it's the number where investing stops being a scary word you avoid and starts being something real that's actually working for you in the background of your life. That's the milestone we're building toward today. Let me give you my numbers real quick, because I'm not talking theory here. My first year investing, I had $50 a month going into an account, and I was terrified every single time the market dipped. 2 years later, I had $4,000 in, and I still checked my phone every day like it was going to tell me something different. By the time I crossed $10,000, something changed. I stopped checking. I started treating it like a bill I paid myself instead of a bet I was making. And today, that same boring system has me with a portfolio that's multiple that number, still on autopilot, still boring. That's the whole point. So why $10,000 specifically? Because that's roughly the point where the math starts doing something you can feel. At a normal market return, $10,000 sitting there can generate real, noticeable growth in a single year, not enough to change your life yet, but enough to prove to your nervous system that this isn't gambling. It's the number where compounding stops being a concept in a textbook and starts being a line on your statement that goes up without you doing anything. That's the whole trick with investing. It's not exciting until suddenly it is. And look, the earlier you hit this number, the more time compounding has to work on it. A dollar invested at 25 is worth dramatically more at 65 than a dollar invested at 35, just because of time. So there is real urgency here. But I don't care if you're 45 and have never opened a brokerage account. I don't care if you're 22 with $200 to your name. I don't care if you've got debt, if you've got a kid, if you've never bought a single share of anything in your life. This works from zero. This works from wherever you are right now. So today I'm giving you 6 steps. No fluff, no just believe in yourself, no vague nonsense about paying yourself first without telling you what that actually means in dollars. 6 concrete steps to get from scared of the stock market to 10 grand in, invested, and growing. Before we get into it, comment your number right now. 0, $500, 10,000 already, whatever it is. There's no right or wrong answer here. I just want to know where this audience actually is, so be honest. Nobody's grading you. Alright, step 1. Open a brokerage account and put in your first $100 this week. Not this month, this week. The reason most people never start investing has nothing to do with not having enough money. It's that not enough money becomes the excuse that lets you put it off forever. I don't care if it's Fidelity, Schwab, Vanguard, any of the big, boring, no-fee brokerages. Takes 15 minutes to open. Put in $100. It will not change your life. That's not the point. The point is, you now have skin in the game, and once you have skin in the game, everything else on this list actually starts to matter to you. Step 2. Automate a fixed amount every single month right after payday before you can talk yourself out of it. This is the step that actually builds the 10 grand, not the one-time deposit. I started at $50 a month. That's it. $50. If you can only do 25, do 25. The amount matters less than the automation. The reason this works is it takes the decision away from you. You're not sitting there every month going, should I invest or should I buy this? It just happens. The same way your rent happens, the same way your phone bill happens. You stop feeling the money leave, and 6 months in you genuinely forget it's happening, and that's exactly when it starts working. Step 3, and this is important, put the money into a total market index fund, not individual stocks, and not anything you saw on social media this morning. This is where I need you to actually listen, because this is where people torch their own progress. Stock picking sounds smart. It sounds like something sophisticated people do. But the data is brutal here. The vast majority of professional fund managers, people who do this full time with teams of analysts, fail to beat a basic index fund over any 10-year period. If the professionals can't reliably beat it, you picking a stock because your cousin mentioned it at a barbecue is not a strategy. It's a coin flip with your rent money. An index fund just buys a slice of the whole market, hundreds or thousands of companies at once, so you're never betting on one company blowing up or blowing up in a bad way. Boring, diversified, that's what gets you to 10,000 without a heart attack along the way. Step 4. Turn off financial news notifications and stop checking your account every day. I want you to understand something. Financial media makes money from you being scared or excited, not from you being calm and consistent. Every single day there is a headline that will tell you the market is about to crash or about to explode, and most of the time neither happens, and even when it does, you weren't going to time it correctly anyway. Checking your account daily does one thing: it trains your brain to associate investing with anxiety, which makes you way more likely to panic and sell at exactly the wrong moment. Check it once a month, tops. Some of the best investors I know check quarterly. The boredom is the strategy. Step 5. Every time you get a raise, increase your contribution before you increase your lifestyle. This is the quiet accelerator that gets you from crawling toward 10 grand to actually getting there in a reasonable time frame. Say you get a 3% raise. Before that extra money ever hits your regular spending account and starts feeling normal to spend, bump your automated investment up by half of it. You still get to enjoy some of the raise. That's fine. That's healthy. But you're not letting your spending expand to eat 100% of every dollar you make for the rest of your life, which is what happens to almost everybody by default if you don't do this on purpose. And look, if all of this still feels overwhelming, if you've got a specific situation, debt alongside investing, a business, a weird tax thing, whatever it is, that's genuinely what financial coaching and planning exist for. I work with a small number of people one-on-one, walking through exactly this kind of stuff, building the actual plan instead of just watching a video about it. It's not for everybody, and I'm not going to pretend it is, but if you want an actual second set of eyes on your specific numbers, there's a link below where you can apply and we'll see if it's a good fit. No pressure either way. Most of you reading this can absolutely do the first 6 steps with zero help from me. Step 6, and this is the hardest one, so pay attention. When the market drops 20-30%, and it will at some point, it always eventually does, you do not touch it. You do not sell. You do not stop your automated contributions. This is the step that separates the people who actually hit 10,000 and keep growing from the people who get to 8,000. Panic during a crash, sell everything at the bottom, and go back to keeping their money in a checking account earning nothing for the next 5 years out of fear. I've watched people do this. I've almost done this myself. Back when I had maybe 6 grand in and the market dropped hard in a matter of weeks, my stomach was in knots. I genuinely sat there with the sell button pulled up. I didn't press it. 18 months later, that same money had not just recovered, it was up well past where it started. The people who blow this up aren't bad with money. They're scared at exactly the wrong moment. The people who make it are just the ones boring enough to do nothing. So let's run it back, quick, no explanation, just a list. Open the account and fund it with your first 100. Automate a fixed monthly amount. Put it in index funds, not individual stocks. Turn off the notifications and stop checking daily. Bump your contribution with every raise before your lifestyle catches up to it. And when it crashes, because it will, you sit on your hands and do absolutely nothing. Zoom out for a second, because this is the part that makes all of it worth it. That $10,000 left alone and added to consistently over, say, 30 years at a normal historical market return doesn't just sit there being $10,000. It turns into a genuinely life-changing number by the time you're retiring, purely from time and consistency, not from you being smart about picking winners. That's the entire game. It's not about being clever. It's about being early and being boring for long enough that the math takes over. And one more thing before I let you go. Don't let anybody talk you into thinking crypto day trading or options gambling is a shortcut around this process. I've seen the accounts. The overwhelming majority of retail traders doing short-term options and day trading lose money over time, full stop. And the ones who win big and post about it are survivorship bias standing in front of you. You're not seeing the thousands who blew up their account the same week. Slow and boring beats fast and exciting basically every single time in this game. Look, None of this is complicated, and honestly, none of it is comfortable at first either, especially step 6. Putting money into something you can't control and then doing nothing while it drops feels deeply unnatural to almost everyone. That's normal. That's not you being bad at this. Do the 6 steps anyway. I want to see you actually get to that $10,000 mark and feel what it's like when investing stops being scary and starts being boring in the best possible way. We'll see you in the next one.